My name is Jane. I am 34 years old, and tonight I cannot sleep. My hands keep shaking. My heart feels too loud. In a few hours, I will fly to a place I have never seen, but it is the place where I was born. I will meet the family I lost. Or maybe the family that lost me. I still do not know how to say it without feeling strange. I grew up in a small town called Blue Harbor, far from everything. People there loved quiet streets and white fences. But I never felt safe in that house. The couple who raised me, Thomas and Lily, always acted like they owned me. They liked to show me to people, the way someone might show a rare object. I remember Lily's voice when guests came to visit. She would smile and say, "Look at our special girl." Her smile never reached her eyes. When I was a child, I thought this was normal. I thought every child walked on eggshells. I thought every child felt fear when they heard heavy steps in the hallway. It took me years to understand the truth. They did not treat me as a daughter. They treated me as something they bought. I never knew why I looked different from them. They never explained. They never told me anything about my past. If I asked questions, Thomas would get angry. And when he got angry, the house became dark, even in daylight. I remember one evening when I was 12. I sat on the floor of my room, holding an old picture of myself as a baby. It was the only baby picture I ever found in the house. On the back, there was writing. A name. Mara. That was not the name they gave me. I asked Lily about it. Her face changed. She took the photo from me and tore it in half. She said, "Forget it. That name means nothing." But it meant something. It stayed in my mind for years like a small stone in a shoe. I think that was the first moment I felt a quiet fire inside me, a sense that something in my life was wrong, deeply wrong. Years passed. I learned to hide my fear. I learned to be small, quiet, invisible. I left home at 18, and they did not try to stop me. In fact, I think they were happy. Less trouble for them. At 28, something changed. One of my coworkers told me about a DNA website. She wanted to find cousins for fun, and she told me to try it too. I did it without thinking. I clicked, paid, swabbed my cheek, and mailed it. It felt like nothing. But that simple thing changed everything. Months later, I got an email. At first, I thought it was spam. The subject line said, "Possible close family match." My heart jumped. I clicked. And there it was. A name I did not know. A woman from a country across the ocean. The website said she was my mother. I stared at the screen for a long time. My room felt too small. My breath felt too thin. I whispered, "This cannot be real." But the match was strong, very strong. That night, I did not sleep. My mind kept spinning. Who was she? Why did she look for me? Why did she take a DNA test? What could she want after all these years? The next morning, I opened my email again. There was a new message. From her. And that was the moment my life cracked open. When I opened her message, my eyes moved slowly at first, like I was afraid the words might explode. Her name was Rosa. She wrote that she had been searching for me for 34 years. She wrote that I was taken when I was 3 months old. She wrote that she never stopped looking. I remember reading one line again and again. You are my daughter. You were kidnapped. I never gave you away. My hands went cold. My whole body felt hollow, like someone removed the floor under me. She told me she lived in a small coastal city called Miramar. She said the police, the newspapers, the international agencies, everyone had been searching for me. She said she did not know which country I had been taken to. She said she prayed every morning and every night. I sat on my bed with the laptop open, unable to move. It felt unreal. It felt too big. I wanted to believe her, but I had been lied to my whole life. I needed proof. Over the next days, she sent more messages. Old photos. A birth certificate. A missing child poster with my baby picture on it. That part hit me hard. On the poster, they had used the name I saw on that torn photo years ago. Mara. I felt my throat tighten. Someone once loved that name. Someone once held me and whispered it. I cried until I felt empty. I decided to get help. I hired a lawyer team. They checked everything. They verified all documents. They contacted authorities. They spoke to agencies in 2 countries. After weeks of work, they told me the truth was clear. Rosa was my real mother. And the couple who raised me, they had bought me. I remember sitting in the lawyer's office, staring at the wall. The word bought echoed in my head. It felt dirty. It felt heavy. My childhood, my pain, my memories, all twisted into something darker than I ever imagined. My first instinct was to confront them. I wanted to scream at them, ask them why, ask them how they could do something so cruel. But the lawyers told me to wait. They said speaking to them too soon could be dangerous or confusing for the case. So I waited. Then one afternoon, the police arrived at their house to question them. I was told they reacted with shock. Soon after, they called me. I almost did not answer. But a part of me wanted to hear their voices. Lily spoke first. Her voice trembled, but not with sadness. With fear. Jane, please, she said, don't do this. We saved you. You should be grateful. Saved me. That word burned something in me. Then Thomas took the phone. He said, "We can talk. We can fix this. Just don't make trouble. Make trouble." That was what he always said when he wanted me small and silent. I felt something rise inside me. Not fear. Not confusion. Something stronger. A new thing. Anger with a clear, sharp edge. My lawyers arranged a meeting with them. A safe place. Neutral ground. Their office. When I walked in, they were already there. Lily looked pale. Thomas looked like he hadn't slept. For a moment, I searched their faces for guilt, regret, anything human. There was nothing. They said they rescued me from a bad country. They said they gave me a better life. They said Rosa was desperate and poor. Every word made my stomach twist. Their voices sounded like knives covered in sugar. At one point, I stood up. I don't even remember doing it. My lawyer put a hand on my arm and said, "Jane, sit. Don't give them what they want." I sat. But my hands were shaking. Lily began crying. Loud, dramatic crying. Thomas kept repeating, "This is unfair. We are the victims." I looked at them and finally understood. They lived in a story they created. A story where they were good people. A story where I was an object, not a person. I leaned forward and said, "You cannot escape this." Not anymore. It was the first time in my life that they looked afraid of me. Not because I was dangerous, but because the truth was stronger than their lies. And that moment changed something deep inside me. A door opened. A path I had been afraid to walk now stood clear. I would go home. To Miramar. To the woman who never stopped looking for me. The night before my flight, I stood by my window and watched the empty street. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that used to make me feel trapped. But not this time. This time it felt like a pause, a deep breath before something new. I kept touching the plane ticket on my table. My hands were nervous, but my mind felt clear. For the first time in my life, I was choosing where to go. I was choosing who to become. When the plane landed in Miramar, my legs felt weak. The air smelled warm and salty, like the sea had been waiting for me too. People walked around me with bright clothes and soft smiles. I felt out of place and at the same time strangely at home. A woman from the local agency met me at the airport. She held a small sign with my name. She said Rosa was waiting in a quiet room nearby, away from the crowds. She did not want to overwhelm you, the woman explained. Overwhelm. That word fit perfectly. My heart kept thumping like it wanted to run ahead before the rest of me was ready. We stopped in front of a simple door. The woman looked at me gently and said, "Take your time. She's inside." My hand shook when I reached for the doorknob. I opened the door slowly. The first thing I saw was a woman standing halfway across the room. Short hair, soft eyes, hands pressed together like she was praying. She looked older than the photos, but her face had something I recognized. Something familiar. Something warm. She whispered my name. Not Jane. Mara. Something broke inside me. Something I had been holding for years without even knowing. I walked toward her. She moved toward me too. For a moment, we just stood inches apart, staring. Then she touched my face with both hands, like she needed to feel I was real. "I thought I lost you forever," she said in a small voice. I didn't know what to say. My throat felt tight, and tears came before words. I leaned into her arms. She held me like she had carried that hug for 34 years. We cried together. Quiet, soft crying that felt like a release. She told me the story. Not all at once, just little pieces while we sat together. I was her first child. She said I was a calm baby who liked to sleep on her chest. One morning, she went to the market for 10 minutes. When she came back, I was gone. The door was open. The cradle was empty. For years, she blamed herself. She searched everywhere. She talked to police, neighbors, travelers. She sent letters to agencies in other countries. She never stopped. I listened without speaking. My chest felt heavy and light at the same time. There was pain between us, but also something strong. Something like a rope connecting us, even after all those years apart. Later, her brother and his wife arrived. They brought flowers. They hugged me too. I met cousins, neighbors, people who remembered the day I disappeared. They treated me with kindness, but also with care, as if they knew I was fragile. That evening, Rosa and I walked along the beach. The sky was pink and gold. The waves were slow and steady. She took my hand. I let her. I asked her the question that had been in my head all day. "Do you still see me as your daughter? After everything?" She stopped walking. She looked straight at me. "You were always my daughter," she said. "Even when I could not hold you." I felt tears again, but these were different. Softer. Warmer. Not everything became perfect that day. Healing takes time. I still carry scars. But for the first time, I am choosing my life with open eyes. I am learning who I was, who I am, and who I want to be. When I went to sleep that night in Miramar, I did not feel fear. I did not feel small. I felt something simple and quiet. I felt home.
What do you think Jane should do now? Should she start a new life in Miramar or return to her old life and try to balance both worlds? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more interesting English stories. Key vocabulary from the story are: overwhelm, agency, verify, fragile, and release. Overwhelm means to make someone feel strong emotion that is hard to manage. Agency is an organization that provides a service. Verify is to check if something is true. Fragile means easy to break or hurt. Release is the feeling of letting go of stress or pain. Lesson of the day. Fragile. It means easily hurt, easily broken, or easily damaged. Example from the story: they treated me with kindness, but also with care, as if they knew I was fragile. More examples. The glass was fragile, so I held it carefully. After the argument, he felt fragile and needed some time alone. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share. You can watch the next story here or explore our playlist for more inspiring stories. And don't forget to subscribe. More interesting stories for learning English are coming soon.